got you hooked up on me. I got you hooked up on me.
Hey everyone, David here, and thank you for joining me for another Cardocast. And in today's hot seat, we have the wonderful Amy Lauren joining us.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us once again. I've got to say a big shout out to selectradio for allowing us their studio space for us to have this conversation. And I've been trying to get you on for a few months now, and it's like itching away.
Hard.
Yeah, and it's really hard to find time as DJs to actually find a spot to do something. I was speaking to Lewis John yesterday about it, and he was like, yeah, most of the time it's normally in the DJ box when you're doing a changeover saying hi, bye. Yeah. So you never get that opportunity to have like a decent chat. So it's really nice and a great opportunity to sit down and get to know more about Amy Lauren. So first and foremost, like, where are you from?
So I live in Essex, not that far away from here really. Yeah, I literally feel like I haven't really moved out of Essex for a really long time with lockdown and everything. But obviously try to get into the studio as much as possible and travel around for gigs and stuff. So
it's not too bad to get into London.
No, it's okay. Like the trains are not too bad. And
that's all right.
it's
Yeah,
all right.
I'm a Kent boy, so I'm coming from the other side.
The other side. Yeah, no, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. And I have to say, off the cuff, I take it you are a Man U supporter. No.
Let's not talk about
that. No, I'm only messing with you. Yeah, no, I see that you do. You've been doing a lot of DJ sets with. Tottenham Hotspurs. The Hotspurs. I was like,
to say that.
I know. I was struggling to find Hotspurs. It was like it disappeared out of my mind for a second there. No, I mean, because I'm actually a fan of Tottenham Hotspurs myself. So,
cool.
And when I'm watching football, which is not very often, unfortunately, but when I get the opportunity, I'm normally there supporting Hotspurs.
Oh, that's nice.
So,
yeah, I mean, obviously we're not playing too well at the moment, but got a new manager, so hopefully times will.
Yeah, it's up and down.
Yeah,
up and
it varies
down.
out, but it's gonna hopefully come up all the way up with a trophy. Soon.
When I first came here, when I first came to the UK, I'm talking 14 years ago. Tottenham Hotspurs were like nowhere in the league. They weren't as a big team, and I watched them, and I got to go to the stadium and see a match the one time, and I was like, yeah. As like a someone who is like useless at football and everything, I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna support these guys.
Do you know what? That sounds literally like how I got into it. I mean, I wasn't even a Tottenham supporter 14 years ago. I wasn't even into football. I wasn't interested. But my partner, James, hello James.
James behind the camera there, working
behind
away.
the cameraman, James. But yeah, he took me to my first game at the stadium. It was the old stadium.
Yeah.
And yeah, like fell in love with the game, the atmosphere. And yeah, because seeing it live is different to watching it on the telly.
100%.
Yeah, I was in, and obviously I'm a big fan now.
Yeah, I never understood that. I was like, why are people going to go and sit in the stadium when you can watch the football at home?
It's completely different. It's completely different.
The vibe, and it really kind of solidifies the enjoyment of the game
100%.
when you go and see it live, and just that atmosphere. You don't get that over the telly, so it's really cool to see. And I mean, that's why I was like, she's DJing at like Tottenham Stadium?
Yeah.
How? What's going on here? It's like, how did you? So you just kind of started hanging out at the stadium and being like, I'm gonna DJ for you guys.
Well,
how did it work?
no. Well, yes and no. Obviously, I was a season ticket holder, so I was at the games anyway. But the gig come around, it was quite lucky. I know Andy Pernell, who's an amazing DJ, hip hop and R&B DJ. He supports Tottenham, and he works closely with Hat Trick Creative, who put on like DJs, magicians, bands, all the entertainment
Good old performances.
at the stadium for all the hospitality areas. So it was just by luck, really. Andy was like, "Oh, you support Tottenham? We need some DJs in the hospitality areas. Like, would you be up for it?" I was like, "Obviously."
Yes.
So luckily, it all kind of started from there, and it was for a couple of games on and off, and then I've always really enjoyed it, and you get to talk to people, and
that's cool.
It's brilliant.
And that's the thing. You go to the games because you love the games, you enjoy the games, and then you get to like get a bit of extra work on the side there as well.
Oh no, it's
nothing
brilliant.
wrong with that.
Like, I literally no complaints at all. Obviously, lockdown happened, and it was like quite sad.
Yeah.
But then since obviously the stadium's been open again, and like, we've been allowed to like DJ back out again, and the stadium's been open at like more like capacity now. So yeah, they opened up the hospitality areas, and they're like, "Do you want to come back?" I was like, "Of course."
Yeah.
It's brilliant because obviously I'm sure it affected you, but because of COVID, you know, like I had to give up my season ticket and I can't afford it. So the fact that they were like, really "Oh, can you come back?" It's like I can at least go to see the games because I financially wouldn't be able to afford to go. So
yeah, I get that with Twickenham because I do a lot of gigs at Twickenham Rugby Stadium.
Wow.
So every now and then I get to watch a game.
Yeah.
And where they normally put us is just behind where the Queen's box is, because they got like the function rooms there. So I normally get to be backstage kind of thing. It's pretty awesome.
Completely different experience because I love the club, but sitting in my old seats and obviously then seeing the stadium from like where I am now, like I go in through like a different door and I go like past the boxes and I meet like all the staff, and it's completely different. Like there's so many different sides to the stadium. It's like I somehow feel I'm more a part of the club. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I'm part of the furniture now.
Literally.
Nice. And then so obviously you're doing that kind of stuff. And what other kind of DJ work are you doing at the moment? Are you more based in Essex, or are you coming into London more and more now?
Do you know what? If any promoters Essex based, I mean, hit me up because I'm local. But I'm struggling for gigs at the moment. It's hard. I would do bits and pieces in London. Like I'll travel anywhere if it's something that's a bit of me. Obviously, I play like house and tech house, so like I'm prepared to fully travel anywhere. But I feel like with a lot of DJs, it's hard trying to get back into the swing of things.
100%.
Before lockdown, you know, like I feel like my profile. Like I'm not saying my profile's big now, but I feel like I've tried to work on my brand in lockdown as well. So I just kind of hoping for new opportunities. Really, I feel people might not really understand. Think I'm just, you know, like one trick pony or whatever. But
I feel that. I 100% feel exactly where you're coming from, because it was like in lockdown, some guys just sat back and were like, okay, I'm just going to wait until things come right and then start working again. Other people like myself, I couldn't afford just to let the business lie, or else you lose so much ground. So you kind of double down in getting that exposure out there and pushing harder. But like you say, I mean, the gigs have come back, but they haven't come back. Like, for example, last year, normally by this time last year, I would be fully booked for December. I would have my New Year's gig all shored up.
I've had actually nothing for Christmas and New Year's yet,
which
is surprising. Because usually people are desperate for just any DJ over that time period. Yeah. But no, like it's hard. Like, and before lockdown, I wasn't like as big as I've like kind of as now. Again, it sounds really big-headed. Like I'm not.
No, you don't even have to say that.
But I feel like, you know, I wasn't doing all the gigs that I wanted to do before lockdown. So it's hard for promoters to maybe take a chance on someone. And like being a girl as well, like I'm not trying to blame that, but you know, like for house events, like I'm a house DJ, but a lot of gigs I was doing potentially like weren't even like what I really wanted to be doing, because you know, they put like one girl on a lineup and you need to be out and meet the people. But how I was struggling to get to the events and network at the ones I wanted to be at, because I was a full-time DJ and I was doing gigs that I maybe didn't really like, but it was
the corporates and all that stuff.
But it was paying the bills so I could eat. So
100%.
Yeah, I feel like in a position now, the pushing through lockdown, like I've had quite a lot of people be like, oh, you know, you're just you're just an Instagram DJ. And it's like, I've been doing this for years. Like, a lot of people don't know what I'm about. They just see maybe the fun
snippet,
side online, and it's like, but I've just been trying to keep relevant because, you know, it's hard.
This game is cutthroat. I mean, you know, they say it all the time. There's DJs a dime a dozen. You know, there's DJs out there. But how many good quality DJs are there? And you know, one thing I've noticed about a lot of the Select family is that the caliber of DJs is incredible. It's just
we're a good bunch.
and we just haven't had that kind of that window of opportunity that hits in the right place. I mean, everybody is pulling together to make something special, and I think we all feel that what's happening
100.
with Select, and it's only because of and it only works because of artists like yourself that haven't just sat there and gone on the sofa to say, hi, it's me, I'm going to my gig. No, you make that effort. You put your lighting behind you. You get a green screen. You do the music. You put your mixes up. You're making fresh content regularly. So the haters might, you know, give you shit for it, but I say screw them, because you're the one who's making those moves. And like you say, by making yourself stay relevant, you're at the top of people's minds when they go, oh, we need an artist. Okay, we need a female performer, you know? I mean, the way I see it is like there's so many gigs that nowadays, like female DJs, good female DJs are in demand. And for example, definitely they're starting. I mean, I've been turned down from work specifically because they said, no, we want like your head candy style female DJ behind. Basically, they want Jaylee. And
but the thing is, like, I agree and disagree with that to some extent, because you know, like, don't get me wrong, it's nice that people and promoters are trying to be more inclusive, but at the same time, I'm not a novelty. Like, I've been booked in the past, like, oh yeah, we need another girl on our lineup.
We just need a girl. No,
and it's like, no. I mean, it's good in a way because, oh yes, at least I'm there and I'm being booked, and when I turn up, like, I can hold my own. I can actually do the job you're asking me to do. But so yeah, like, I feel very conflicted sometimes with that. Obviously, I'm grateful for the work, but at the same time, like, sometimes it has just been, oh, you know,
you're there because you're filling a quota,
or because of what I look like, and it's
not about
it's
that.
Not fair,
well, the reason I say that is I say Jay Lee because we had the same conversation. We had literally the same conversation, and when I first met Jay Lee, I honestly, and I told her this, I was like, I thought, okay, she's the face DJ. She's there to look good. And it was at a AAA event for London in the Sky, and then she came onto the decks. Now, as a professional DJ, as somebody who's been DJing for many years, you go up to the CDJ 2000 Nexus 2s. You know where all your buttons are. You know what you have to do. If you turn up to the next event and there's an XDJ RX2 controller in front of you, you go, okay, and you adapt your style and you smash it just the same, you know.
100.
And it shows you as a professional. And she came in and she started playing and she started dropping these tunes that were just like, and the way she was doing it, I was like, oh, okay, you're a proper DJ.
But it's funny that you had that perception to even want to. Like, if she'd been a bloke, you probably would have been like, oh, cool, whatever. But the fact, like, that you said...
Yeah, I thought it was just there. And then it was only because I got to know her. You thought she could have been a face DJ. Yeah, and that's not on you. It's just that's how we as women are perceived. And it's good that you can acknowledge that to change it. But we need people like you to acknowledge it and to change it. Well, that's the conversation. Yeah. The reason for the conversation, because, like, I've seen your performances. I've listened to your mixes. It's not a case of you're just there... You're here on your merit. You're not here just as a placeholder. And
also, I just want to say, for the women DJs out there that are a face DJ, that's all right as well. If people are paying you good money and you're coming up and the crowd's having a good time, I mean, it's not how I would DJ, but it's a different style of DJ. And if
this is a problem.
It lies with the promoters. If the promoters are booking them, if they're bringing in loads of people to come and watch them, and that's what they're doing.
So Paris Hilton. She can
actually DJ. Have you watched a documentary?
I've watched her DJ, but then you've got the sound technician bending over and sorting out her
do you know
game
what?
for
I
her.
would disagree with you there because she can DJ. I've watched a documentary about her. It's an insight into her life, and it's actually quite moving and it's sad. But I absolutely despise the Paris Hilton DJ, and I hate that people use it as a reference. Do you know what? She's a millionaire, and
as you said, the promoters are
the
booking
promoters
her
are gonna
because
book her,
they know
that's
they're going to
fine.
sell the club out. They're
But
going
she
to
can
sell
play.
out.
She could probably play better than some men, but just because of who she is, people just want to slam her. And I think she's just another girl doing it. Leave her alone.
And it's. I think it comes from that point of like when I see, for example, I did a Kiss FM DJ competition many years ago, and it wasn't. I was up against like 11 other DJs, and we all had our slot. We all DJ'd, and I came runner up to a 14-year-old kid. Now I got told about the event, and I had to put the mix into Kiss FM like. I had like 24 hours. It was the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
And my mate heard it on the radio. He's like, mate, you need to put this in. So I did it, and then I got through, and then it was at Blue Water. So they in the food court, they had us over the top.
Yeah.
And then like each DJ was playing, and then people
That's
were
really
listening.
cool. I haven't been shopping there in ages.
Yeah, and they had DJ Swerve and Rafiq, like the DMC world champion, being the judges, and it was like all proper legit. And like I came to the UK as a like to pursue my career as a professional DJ. You know, slogged, worked my way from nothing. I came with 500 quid in my back pocket. I'm playing against like this other DJ comes in, 14 years old. His dad's a doctor. Bought him a pair of CDJ 2000s with Nexus 1s at the time, with a DJM 900 mixer. He absolutely destroyed it. He was cutting and he was mixing.
That's amazing.
He absolutely,
14. I love to see like young talent come up. Like I didn't even start DJing until like in my 20s.
But for me, as somebody who has slogged and literally like scraped like the bottom of the barrel to get to where I was, to afford just a pair of 100 S's, you know, to then like, okay, I came runner up, but to then have this kid who's just been playing in his room, and all credit to him, but there was that like, Jesus Christ, bro, give me a chance.
No,
give me a chance.
I understand, but if you use that story, that is a perfect way to describe the music industry.
Yeah.
You can have the dopest promoters, the dopest DJs, this, that, and the other, but sadly, you need money behind you, good PR campaigns to really help push, like, you know, for like radio players and blah blah blah. So yeah, I mean,
that's why I say you can't knock
but take that,
what you've done in terms of
that,
promoting yourself.
Take it into any field of like expertise. You know, I think obviously it always helps if you've got money and you know the right people. But that's why sometimes you've got to pat yourself on the back and, you know, like, we're all
be
here,
happy where you
we're
are,
all still
basically.
doing the same thing. And yeah, it's hard to always compare yourself to other people because we're all different and we've all come from different backgrounds, different situations. But we've all got the love for the music, which is the same. So
that is the truth. I mean, I was stoked. I was stoked for him. And I will say it, he deserves to have one, because my tune selection was on point. I mixed well, all those kind of details, but he just made complete use of the effects. He was using filters, he was using reverbs, he was using scratching, and it just all came up together to a quality standard, and he blended from hip hop into house. And so, like, I give it to him. He won it hands down. And like, I was jealous because he won a trip to New York and went and did a set in New York, and I was like, and I got a bottle of CK1.
That's all right.
I was pretty stoked because it was a huge bottle, and it was like, it lasted me like a year. So I was pretty stoked with it. But yeah, it was a great opportunity. But like, it's just for me, sometimes I do, maybe it is that thing where I shouldn't be measuring myself to other people, but it's like,
no, we all do it.
When you slog as hard as, like you say, you can do everything right in this industry and you still won't make it. because I thought that when I was choosing what I wanted to do for my life, you know, and I was going to be in school, I was working towards being a stock trader.
Oh, okay.
So that's
very different.
Yeah, and then I found music. I saw DJing, and I was just like,
this is a bit of me.
It just resonated through me, and I was like, and I thought to myself, okay, I can see the path. I finish my course, I get my BA, I get my degree, I get my postgraduate, I get my job, and then I'm into that, and then I'm gonna be 50 on a golf course loaded. Yeah, that's where it stands. But then, and I was like, DJing, there is no guarantee you can do everything right.
That's the fun of it, though, right?
Exactly. That's exactly it. That's the excitement. It's like
risk takers.
Yeah, and I'm living every day where I'm actually enjoying what I'm doing. I'm not locked in an office.
I think that's the important point of it, is if the love for it stops, then you need to stop. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are ups and downs, and like we were saying earlier, sometimes it's hard when you're like trying to compare and you're looking at other people and you're in a bit of a rut. But we're all on our own path, and as long as you're enjoying it, that's the main thing. Like, when it's good, it's great. When it's bad, it can be pretty.
It can be.
But it's fine.
It can be hard.
I think we're a creative bunch of people. We're all quite interesting, and like, what's your job? I'm a party star, pretty much. Like, that's what we are. Like,
I'll make a party.
Like, we get paid to party. Like, that's not normal. It's not a normal job.
Normal. But it's an
pretty
awesome
cool.
job to have.
It's really cool.
It's really
so
awesome.
when you think of it like that, it's just like, it's the ups and downs. Some parties aren't so good, but some of them are brilliant. And you meet some interesting people.
First party after lockdown, where were you? I mean, that must have been, for me, it was a cheesy party, but I was just like, people, yes! Dancing.
I don't know.
I was loving it.
I think my first booking was London Bridge rooftop.
Oh, wow.
So it's nice up there, but it's not a party place. It's people come down for beautiful cocktails, beautiful views, and a bit of like cool background music. And I think I was happy to be doing that, but no one even knew it was me. I could have been Spotify, but, I was literally like, yes, I played all the tunes, and then everyone's just sat like just wanting to see their friends and talk, and like I might as well have not been there, but you know, I'm back. I'm doing it.
I was loving it. I'm still gutted. I'm still waiting for a few residencies to come back. I had a couple midweek ones. They're just there by Tower Bridge, and I'm still waiting for those to come back. But the Hiltons, they're quite like, no, they're not opening up fully just as of yet.
Fair,
I mean, I've definitely felt that where there's that hesitancy for people to come back on. But the venues that have come back, they're like, yeah, this is it, and they've come back strong. So
no, it's brilliant.
I've been enjoying it.
I've been wanting to go out more as well, but just kind of been waiting for things to settle and sort of just see where it goes. Obviously, financially, I'm not in a position to be able to go out partying, but hopefully after Christmas, and like January's obviously the worst month ever. It's my birthday month, but it's the worst month for any DJ. No one books
but
DJs
that's when
in January.
you take a holiday.
Yeah.
My holiday is in January, so I don't sit there stressing about the fact that I haven't made ends meet for the month.
But no,
I
I'm
just
looking
roll it
forward
over.
to next year. I feel like I was a little bit disappointed when I started going back to work. I was like, I want to be here and doing everything, but I'm settled now knowing, do you know what? Let's see the rest of the year out. Obviously, we kind of want COVID to kind of die down and people to be like more well, and then kind of crack on with the next year. I want to.
So have you got anything planned for next year in terms of DJ wise?
No, I want to go on holiday. Obviously, I would like to hopefully go abroad. I'd really like to go to New York and Ibiza, but like nothing's in the diary. Literally taking week by week, day by day. I've got plans, but nothing
concrete as of yet.
Nothing concrete.
Well, as you heard, she's a free agent. She's ready for action. So you heard it here first. No, I rate next year is going to be big because, like, there's been that hesitancy, but what I found was, especially with the smaller festivals, it was a shame he didn't come down to Glaze
I'm
of
so
Glory,
sorry.
man.
Do you know what? I can't remember. I think I had a booking come up, and again, I'm like not in a position
Money
to
comes
be able
first. If there's a
turn
gig,
it down.
if there's a cash gig, I will take the cash gig. I've had to do that because they asked me to do Cafe Mambo's New Year party in Shoreditch. And I've had to turn it down because someone's offered me a lot of money for New Year's Eve. So I'm like, sorry, mate. I can't do
I
it.
understand, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, it's a shame because I'm still wanting to go out and do things and meet up with like I haven't even met half the people on this station yet, you know.
Wow, there is. We are having these conversations because I think, one thing that I have heard from every person in Select that I've sat down with is they can't wait for us to have, which I've already dubbed it, the Select Mixer. And
is this going to be our events? Is it?
I think
we're going to do it 100%.
Yeah, there's gonna be the opener. I've been pushing John. I've been pushing all the right buttons. Going, hey, I'm like, here, look at my sound system. Come on, let's go. Let's have a party.
Obviously, we were speaking to John and saying like it's definitely a future plan for the station. It's just obviously concentrating on the launch of the FM and getting everything all good to go. Because like I think we're smashing it as a little station.
Yeah.
We've got no major budget behind us. We're all just we're all chipping in as DJs, bringing in like what we can do. We're all here for the love of the music, and
that's starting to show.
We'll take over next year.
100%. I am so ready for that. I definitely think that's going to happen. Which actually leads me on very nicely. Well, if you're watching up to this point in the video, don't forget to go down over there and just smash that like button for us. You know you want to do it. And also don't forget to check out Amy Lauren. Also, I was going to ask you, so your slot is on a Friday. What is the time slot?
On Fridays 12 till 2, but I am moving to Thursday, but I don't think it's confirmed yet. But I'm not too sure. So maybe edit this bit out because I don't know what the times
We don't know.
are.
We don't know yet. So what I would say is watch this space.
Well, everybody's moving around at the moment, aren't they? And we're all getting ready, so I'm not really too sure what's going on, but that's
it. I mean, this is what we are going to be doing. There's going to be more of a select focus on when we're doing the full launch, and
it's exciting, isn't it? I'm really excited.
It is really exciting, and I mean, big up to everyone in the background that is making Select what it is, because I really enjoy being here, and week on week we see the effort that is being made by those people in the backgrounds, to make it what it is, and it's turning into something special.
It really is something special. Like I think I joined Select in lockdown.
Oh wow! Okay, so you joined Select a year ago, and you joined on the Friday, and you never been on radio before then?
No, I've never. Well, I had done. I originally was on Vibe Slate, which was an online radio station.
Okay.
And that was the first time I'd actually done radio, because I like playing music, not so much hosting and talking. I mean, I know I like to talk, but I didn't really know how what I would do, how I would come across.
Yeah.
So with lockdown and obviously lack of gigs and stuff, I thought, how can I keep playing out and doing things? So that's how that come about. Oh my god, my first show on Vibes, that was awful. It's like, hello, this is Amy Lauren. You are listening to the dance show. So I'm be playing some house and tech house. Like, I'm really nervous. It's really awkward, and I was sort of come into my own a little bit, and then I sent John. No, not John. Sorry, I sent Josh. I sent Josh some demos, and he was like, "I like the idea of what you're doing." But
classic Josh.
Here's some, like, he was brilliant though. He was like, here's some pointers. Yeah. Please keep sending the demos in. You need to get your mic up to a level that sounds good.
Yeah.
And he gave me loads of pointers, and I come back with some more, and until we kind of got the show sounding right. So joined Select, and it was brilliant. It's still taken me a while to get into the swing of things, but I play the music that I like, and I think I like to think I've got a good ear for the things that I like anyway. So it's just sharing it with people. Well, so I think
that when I was actually in the studio with Josh when he was talking about the fact that you were joining on, and your presence was already on. Online and was being felt. So for you coming over to Select, it was like a really big addition, and
that's nice to hear.
It was definitely felt. So I mean, you're doing whatever you're doing right, because people were feeling the vibe, and we just felt that as soon as you came on board, it was just like another solid addition to the lineup.
No, it's really nice. It's just, I feel like lockdown was so hard for a lot of people, and being able to give
back and
share music, and we tweet the we tweet like my track list live, so it's kind of like if you're hearing a song that you like and by a producer you've not heard of, like that might be the first time you would have heard their song because you're not hearing it in a club, and if they've not had radio support before, like I don't know, I just feel like I was just trying to like bring a load of people together and keep the momentum
And
of like what was going of what we were doing, and
people were very keen, and one thing I saw that was like after lockdown 1, shall we say, it was a case that people they had, because that first lockdown everyone was like, oh, I have to stay home, oh, what a shame, and then they, after the first month they were like, okay, I've chilled now, and now this is kind of like, what am I gonna do with myself?
Going mad at home.
And then I found that I was doing shows, the radio was on, and there was a lot of people doing their own house shows and stuff like that. And you found this community online and people really coming together and enjoying that company. And so I found that even though it wasn't something I was being paid for, I found that it was definitely a service that was being needed at the time.
Definitely, and it's rewarding as well. Like, I'm reaching out to so many different people sending me like promos, and then like becoming friends with different people. Like, again, all these people, I'm still yet to meet half of them, but like connecting with so many people, and I think it stopped me from feeling so lonely. I feel like a lot of people probably felt very lonely at home. Obviously, if people were living on their own, that must have been awful. Yeah,
terrible.
But it was good. I think it was good for me mentally to be doing something each week that wasn't just like waiting for the world to reopen,
Twiddling your thumbs. I'd rinsed my Netflix. I got no more Netflix. Disney Plus is gone. No, I feel the same way. But no, I'm really stoked to see like the positivity coming out of it, and everyone that has kind of done that. And you saw as I said, I've spoken to a lot of people in Select, and all of them have been in that same mindset to say, I'm not going to just sit here and wait. I'm going to make stuff happen. I'm going to sharpen my skills. I'm going to sort out my rig. I'm going to add to this. I'm going to, and just, and then keeping themselves busy. And then I found that, I don't know what it was like for you, but after when we first got allowed to have the parties, literally there was that, just that end bit of summer was just stupidly busy. I was working like 6-7 nights in a row, and it was just like relentless. And I was like, please, can I DJ? Then I was like, make it stop! Make it stop! And now it's slowing down, and I'm like, gotta give me more of those gigs.
It's up and down. It's up and down. But I think our jobs are always up and down. There's no certainty. Like, that's part of why we all must be mad. Like, it's nothing's guaranteed. Like,
Yeah. I actually was going to ask you. So, this is something I've actually asked all the people that have been on Cardocast, so I have to ask you as well. So when was the first time that you went, yes, I want to do that?
My classic story, I was lucky enough to be a glass collector in a bar, stroke nightclub. Big up the Mazula gang.
Mazula.
It's a walkabout now. It's a place in my hometown. I literally started as a glass collector, and the night transforms from like kind of day to night, and the lights go down, the music goes up. We used to get some really sick DJs, and just like watching how the DJ controlled the whole night was like, okay, because I like music, but I was never like, music is my life, like house music, like I'm very late getting into it, like, and I'm not ashamed to say it, because I think it's, a lot of people like, they're born into it, and they're like, but I feel like if it's something you connect to,
doesn't matter when it happens.
Doesn't matter when it happens, and that's why I like to like tell the story of people that ever might think, it's a bit late. It's never too late. Like, I quit my job as I was a manager of a nightclub, and assistant manager. But
you were running it. Let's be honest.
But I ended up, and I love my job like so much. I really love my job. But I ended up quitting it to try and to be a DJ like full time, and I don't regret it. I mean, the money at first was like, I took a bit of a hit, but I was really happy, and I just thought like, this is something I really, really want to do.
So when was this? How many years ago are we talking here now?
How old was I? So I started working in the bar when I was 20, And I quit my job when I was 24.
24. 4 years ago. 4 years ago. So you've been.
It's 4 years ago.
So you've
Thanks,
been,
James.
So you've been in the game. You're still quite fresh in the game.
Yeah,
then.
100. Like, I mean, I've been around. Like,
That
I've been
is-
here.
I have to say that is impressive.
Thank you.
Because, again, DJing nowadays is not, I can play music. Because everyone
No.
can play music. It requires a lot of background efforts. And like you're saying, doing
course.
all the socials and stuff like that, finding the gigs, getting into those places, networking and all of those.
100.
It's not like, I can play music, I can push play, I can push stop, I can push sync kind of thing. It's
Being
like,
able to control a night as well, I think.
yeah, and
you-
understanding to
yeah,
read a crowd.
Exactly, that's very important. And like, even if, like, for me, when I very first started DJing, like, obviously it takes a while to be able to understand everything, but I think it's going wrong even if you can't make it right, as long as you're switching it up and you're trying. I think, like, for me, that's something that's really important and that needs to be there. I see, like, some DJs obviously, like, just like hammering it and having the time of their life, and it's like, don't get me wrong, it's great, but I feel like any advice for a new DJ is to really don't worry about the bangers, because anybody can play the top 30 biggest tunes and make a crowd go mad, but really think about, it doesn't need to be 100 mile an hour the whole time. Like, you want to take your crowds on a bit of a journey. Then you get tired if you're banging out like bangers for an hour. Like, you need to have a little bit of downtime. Like, it's all.
They need to go, and it depends on where you're playing. Because if you're
it's
playing
all
in a
about
club, you have to have that lull, because you will get that lull. Because if you're watching, I used to watch the amount of drinks in people's hands.
That's a clever one.
So because if I saw that they were half to the bottom half, I'm not going to play my biggest banger then. I would rather wait until they've gone to the bar, because you see that kind of bleed.
That's
from
an
the
interesting
dance
way
floor.
to,
And then
100.
they get their drinks, and then I put the banger on. They go, and then they all come back on the dance floor.
Or you make them stay there and wait they'll go to the bar in a bit and make them stay. They're listening
It's
to
like
you.
that-
They're listening to you.
Well, it's like, have you seen that meme where the guy's like 5 bangers in the row? And he goes like,
No, definitely. But no, I do. Best piece of advice is obviously to try and really study what's going on. Be really like aware of everything that's going on around you, and like how they're looking at it.
And it's amazing that it wasn't like, for me, it was when I saw I walked in on a DJ training session, and the guy was learning how to play on vinyl, and I was just like, oh my god, what is this? Oh.
Wow.
But for you to realize that off the cuff, that it's not about just the music that's being played, it's the way in which the DJ is controlling the audience and
100%.
taking them on a journey, and that for me as well. I mean, the dynamic changes depending on what you're doing, because if you're at a festival, you've got a different dynamic than if you're playing in a club,
Of course.
versus if you're playing like a normal birthday party or a regular venue or a bar.
Exactly, and it's so different. Like, everywhere you go, it's always different. That's why I enjoy it, because it's always a challenge. You're always training. Like, you're always learning. Like, everything is a different experience. So you're always just trying to be prepared, and that's why, like, music preparation is quite important.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at my files on my laptop, you'll be like, okay,
So
well,
your record
you're
box-
preaching is, and they're not great. But I spend more time moving files around record box, just like, so I have an idea of what I've got and like what's good for right moments. Because there's no point like having a great track and you're like, oh, I really like this, but you've only played it once at home, and then you're like, oh, this will fit in here, and you play it gets halfway through and you're like, actually, this is a bit heavy, or this is a little bit flat for like what I thought. So yeah, like knowing your music is really really important. And it doesn't matter, like, 'cause I used to drive myself crazy, like, what genre is this, what subgenre is this? But I've realised, like, as long as
There's
like,
no genres anymore,
as
mate.
long as you know where it sits and that fits with things that are
playing.
for you to be able to find and are similar for you, then that's all good. That's
Yeah.
all good, because there's about a million subgenres. Like, oh my god, trying to label everything is hard.
I don't think genres really
Everything's tech
exist
house now.
anymore. Yeah, I mean, exactly that. I mean, it's like, okay, the remix of Gimme Gimme Gimme, that wasn't boiler room sessions. It's like
I was mad.
What?
I see so many DJs rinse that now. I mean, like every now and again. I would never, like, I had no ABBA in my library.
Yeah.
But like he's killed it with.
And then Rasputin came out, but then now there's that whole revival of that. But 70s and disco has been coming back
disco.
in a bit.
Like,
I mean,
always
Purple Disco
loved it.
Machine and like
Killing
the way they.
it.
Absolutely killing it, and I love the fact that they're bringing it back. And I'm fortunate enough; I'm going to be playing with Dimitri from Paris on the 13th of November. So I was like, I wangled my way in. I was like, hey, feeling the sound system.
It's literally amazing.
So I mean,
there's so much love for disco.
Yeah, it's so serious.
Nice.
It's called, and it's coming back in such a, and people are loving it because it's
disco's
reviving
like the heart and soul of the industry, like of house music. It is
127 like Disco Heaven. I mean, that's where it all kind of kicked off in Studio 54 and places like that. And I'm so glad that one thing I like people, because they say, if you were born in the 70s and you have that music, or if you're born in the 80s, well, right now we have got all of that music, and it's being just completely like this mishmash of.
Yeah, there were so many different remixes and bits and pieces of different things, and it's nice to try and like work it into my sets. Like I would never have played ABBA before, but now, like, don't get me wrong, I've got a couple of remixes, and it's interesting to see now how being able to work that in, like working that in before, people probably would have left the dance
floor. They're looking at you like, what?
In certain places or to certain venues.
But
goes
now
back
to saying knowing
it's like
where
being
to play
educated
music
now, and it's lovely, and they're bringing in the old and the new, and obviously there's like remixes going around and all sorts. But it's brilliant. I love it.
I've heard your latest track, and you know what? I'm still, when I find a remix that I like, of a song, that becomes like the staple until I find a better remix to jump onto. Right now, on a rugger tip, your SL2 remix, that is my staple now. So I've gone from playing the original, because I always used to play the original and then like splice it while I was playing. You know,
because the original's really fast.
Yeah, I just use the loop. But then now. That has now been replaced by your remix. So
no, it gets a good response when it play it out, because just when I think sometimes with the classic stuff, like it's really lovely because you have young people sometimes might have like heard it but not really know it. Yeah. So like being able to bring back
educating
old stuff,
definitely
to the
new audience,
and then people recognise things. Like I feel like a lot of tech house tracks at the moment, especially in the Beatport Top 100, are like a lot of 90s hip hop and R&B like vocals of things.
We were talking about this. Dennis Cruz bringing Gold Digger.
Oh my god! Like I'm here for it. Like I love it.
Yeah, love
it. Like it's just things that people know, and
they're latching onto it
straight away.
So we were having this conversation though, because I think there is. We had this on the last podcast where I was speaking to Lewis John about this. Now, Booker Shade, Body Language, Reton then made the remix of it, and they put a new vocal, or Michael Beebe, Hanging Tree, where they completely like had to change the words and stuff, and it just sounds so commercialized where. And for me, the thing that which I didn't like, when I love remixes, you listen to my show, 90% of what I play is remixes. I love remixes, but like for example, we're talking about Sweet Female Attitude and Flowers.
Yeah.
Now, Sam Divine did a remix, which is now kind of the one that I've been using mainly, and then there was that other band, I can't remember, but they then did Flowers, singing the whole thing and making a new song arrangement.
Was it Nathan Dorr?
Nathan Dorr.
I'm sure it was Nathan Dorr that did it. It was before lockdown, wasn't it? Yeah, I'm sure. I think it was.
So then they had that one, and then they brought out another one, literally just somebody singing the new track. I was like, but what's wrong with the original vocal? What's wrong with the original track? I can understand.
It's probably trying to get it. Trying to get it cleared. That's probably what's wrong with it.
It's just they kind of just rinsing the same remix. It's like, okay, bro, It's already been done now. And that's sometimes I feel like the industry goes too far. It's like the execs in some record label have gone, right, we need to get on this cash cow.
I know what you mean with that, but sometimes I think it's bad luck as well, because a lot of people could be sitting on ideas like that, but by the time they get it cleared or have it resung, and then by the time maybe there's their release date, they don't realise like 3 other people might have thought, I've got this really good idea, and it all comes out at once. But like it's a bit of a madness. But the good thing about it is like at least there's so many different versions of different things, because just because what you might not like, somebody else might really like. So do you know what I mean?
That's a very good point. Very good point.
I think the Nathan Dorr Flowers one, it's very commercial, and it's not really my style. I wouldn't really play it. Yeah. But obviously there would be a lot of people that would be like, who'd never even heard the original, and would be like, oh my God, this is amazing, singing it. And isn't it lovely? But if I had to play that,
in a garage set, like if I had to play the Nathan Dorr's one instead of Sweet Female Attitude,
you wouldn't play it in a garage set.
People would look at me and go, what are you doing? You know?
But that's probably where you'd be playing. Like if you were playing like a very commercial chained nightclub in the main room, that's what they'd probably want you to play.
That is true.
And that's fine.
That is true.
As with DJs, and we play probably maybe not so commercial. We like
more of the underground.
We like the old school stuff as well, and maybe not an underground remix.
I get that. I'll take that point.
It's the music's diverse, isn't it? And like what we might not like, someone else would love. So I feel you on that one. But
so with regards to remixes, have you got anything tasty in the pipeline?
Remix wise, not at the moment, but I have a release. I don't know when this is being aired, so I'm going to say I'm going to say it's out now because it's out on Friday.
It's out on Friday. No, that's fine.
It's not a remix.
It's out now.
It's a new track of mine with my best friend Jessica Alice, who is an amazing singer. And it's called Hooked on Me and is on Newstate Music. So go check that out.
Amazing. Love it. Yeah.
And I'm finishing the year with one more release on Stashed with Jax. So
amazing.
I won't say much more about that, but I'm really excited for that one. So
that's fantastic. So you got things in the pipeline. And I was going to ask as well, what are you using? Are you an Ableton or are you Logic?
I'm on Logic. Ableton scared the life out of me because I had it first and it was looked very confusing. But I'm actually thinking of going back to try and learn how to use it at some point.
So I'm in that. I was like,
maybe you
can
give me some pointers on Ableton. You're moving on to Ableton.
Because I had Ableton 6, and then I was like kind of figuring it out, but then the quantizing and it just getting your beat marks I really struggled with. So then what was happening, because nowadays you go to Splice and everything is time coded and stuff like that. So you put it in and it works beautifully. But obviously back when I was learning it, you'd have to sit there and make the flag markers yourself individually on the track. So here's me trying to make a remix, and I'm going through this track, and it's taking me like 45 minutes to get the thing into the correct BPM. And obviously, I'm sure there was an easier way to do it, but I was useless. I'm terrible with this kind of stuff.
I mean, it takes me a long time to I'm not very good at learning things where like reading a book. Like I learn best with someone being able to be like, to do it like this. Yeah. So I think Logic is a lot more user friendly, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of it that I still don't use its full potential. Yeah. But I'm getting there. I have obviously help. I've got lots of friends that help me with bits, and in the music industry, it's great. We can all message each other and ask each other questions about everything. Usually messaging people about something. So.
Josh Parkinson, he's my go-to because.
Oh, big old Josh Parkinson, we love you.
Yeah, he's a good boy. He's a good boy. Yeah, soon I'm gonna get you on here, big boy. Because I went into the studio with him and I did a couple sessions where he just showed me exactly what I need to be doing, ways that I can save myself time using Logic. So
because everybody uses things differently, everyone starts projects and starts in different places. So no, definitely, I agree. But apparently Ableton, once you get the hang of it, it's actually it's better than anything else. So I was scared, but we'll learn it together.
We'll learn it together. I mean, I'm very tempted, but for me now, I think what I'm gonna have to do is, in all honesty, actually pay for a course and go on a training course with it, just because I don't have the time to be figuring it out on my own.
Yeah,
it's just it's so with regards to the radio and then DJing on the side, I run a mobile DJ business as well. And it's
you're very busy. You do lots of stuff.
I've got the festival coming up as well. It's just like, I do too many things. My mates always tell me like, bro, just why don't you just focus on one thing rather than 10 million things? I'm like,
but we like to be out and about. Like,
I do.
Out and about. Like,
people say, why are you doing the podcast? I'm like, because I want to. Yeah. I want to have a conversation. I want to chat to people.
It's nice. It's nice to do this and be able to sit down because, like, I think you were saying at the beginning, like, it's everything's in passing, like, or in a booth, and it's kind of on to the next. And we seem to be like busy. We're always going somewhere doing something,
exactly.
or at home.
I made this as a work thing. Which then allows me to learn as well, because what you were saying earlier, for example, like if you haven't watched the one with Lewis John, have a look down below and check out some of the other Cardocasts that we've had. There's some epic DJs there. But while I was chatting to him, we were having this conversation with Sweet Female Attitude, and it would have been nice to have you in the room with us, because your perspective is you come at it from a different angle, so it makes me rethink my standpoint on the subject, which I think is great, because you can't.
We all have different opinions about everything,
and I think that is so, especially in the world today, where everything is so polarized, and people go, "Oh, I don't agree with that, so I'm gonna take that off of my feed," and not be open to different way of thinking or a different viewpoint. So I love the fact that you were able to actually almost sway me in my view of Sweet Female Attitude's remix.
And I hope I've changed your mind about how you feel about what did you say? Face DJs.
Yeah, the face DJ.
The face DJs as well. Like, I hope I managed to make you think about that. You don't have to agree with it, but I hope I managed to make you think about that in a different way.
Yeah, 100%. Because it was
like
that
vinyl CDJs. Are CDJ DJs not a real DJ? That's a whole nother story.
That's a whole other subject.
But you could say that's on the same thing as someone that comes. I know, like, there are good producers and DJs out there, and a lot of producers, like, sometimes blow up and then they get the DJ bookings, but they're not actually DJs first. I'm not going to name names, but I've seen people on our mixes stand there and pretend to DJ, but the crowd has had the time of their life, and they're being paid to do it. And
same with radio DJs. I've had radio DJs.
It's none the wiser. It's brilliant. I mean, everybody, it's all different. I mean, I would rather do how I do, but then other people would say I'm not a real DJ because I can't use vinyl. But like, I appreciate the art form and where it comes from, but I haven't I haven't got time to learn or carry or not strong enough to carry vinyl with me. So you got
James.
But yeah, I think it should be open-minded, and like, we live in such a diverse world. Like, why does everything have to be one way because one person said it's that way? Like, we're allowed to have opinions, but respect other people's opinions for their choices.
See, this is why I like Android, because their ad campaign. I'm not gonna hate on Apple too much, but this is why I liked Android, because they had this advert, which is it showed like all these different like animation characters of like Android devices, and all different, and their slogan was together, not the same. We're all together, and we have all these different diversities.
How boring would we be if we were all the same? By the way,
and instead of just being one plug socket, one size fits all, that's the way it is. And the variety is the spice of life, and it is nice. That's why I love the underground side of things, especially with what we do in the music, because like Josh or nobody in the station really kind of tells me off for what I play, or
of course, because it's what you want to play.
Yeah,
like,
and it's about it's about us giving what we love to the audience, and he's like, no, you do it. Your show sounds great. It's but what I do love about Josh is, like you say, if there's something that he needs, he doesn't just sit on it or kind of like tell you off. He gives you a solution. He says, well, maybe we can do this. Let's work on it this way.
100%.
And he helps you, and he
Helps
gives you
you
that
grow the
encouragement.
idea, yeah,
exactly.
definitely.
So he betters you as an artist, which I think is really awesome.
Big out Josh, we love you, Josh.
Yes, love you. He's also another person I haven't actually collared yet to get, but he's so busy. He's so
Josh
busy.
is very, very, very busy.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Sometimes I think, how does he fit all these things into
I
his
have no
life?
idea. He's like a Superman who's always busy and manages to keep all of us in check. So.
Yeah, yes.
Go on, Josh.
Yes. Big up to you. Well, anyway, I just wanted to say a big thank you for coming on and
Thanks for
having
having me.
this conversation. It was really nice just to shoot the breeze, as they say.
I've never heard that saying before, but yeah, we shot that breeze.
And yeah, I'm really looking forward to like you say, the new year. I mean, we're sitting here in the lovely Select studio. Things are starting to come together really nicely. And what I want to see is, in a year's time, us being able to sit down again, 1 year down from Select FM. And
Oh, it's so close, isn't it? Oh my god, yeah, wow. It's crazy.
does make me a bit giddy, like
Yeah, I know, the studio,
yeah, we're right there.
3,000s are in there.
The 3,000s, I know the 3,000, but you know, and that's one thing that I used Select for as well is because the format is kind of, it's open. I don't have to follow like the structure we were talking about earlier for a nightclub or for a venue.
Yeah.
People are listening for leisure purposes, so
course.
you have a bit more free reign to try different things or go with a different vibe that you wouldn't normally even risk in a club environment. And as a result, you get to find these gems. And because you're in the studio space, you can also have that opportunity to try more effects and add a few more things in than you would when you in, say, the working environment.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
When it's like pressure and you're kind of like
Yeah.
zoned.
and then these magic things happen where these magic mashups or magic mixes come out and you go, oh yes, I'm going to download that recording because that listen back because that was actually amazing, that worked, and you go, oh, I'll take a note of that.
No,
for
that's
next
why
time.
another reason we got a big up Select for like letting us be creative artists. Like, you know, there's no playlist in here. We're not told, oh, you need to rinse this, rinse that. It's literally like
play what you want.
You do you, hun.
So as a result, for the last year, I've been playing Clapton and Purple Disco Machine non-stop, basically.
Love it.
So thank you again. And guys and girls, don't forget, if you want to find any information on Amy Lauren, where can they find it?
I'm pretty easy to find. At DJ Amy Lauren across all the socials.
All the socials. Very nice. So yeah, so check her out. Check out the mixes as well. And you can also see her currently on Fridays. But we'll wait and see because things are
changing here.
Yeah, they're moving around. And what we do know for certain is that Amy is part of the furniture. She's not going anywhere unless she gets snapped up by Radio 1 or something like that.
No, I love it here.
Good. That's what I like to hear. Good answer. But yeah, and then, I hope you guys stay in tune. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.
Bye.